Have you noticed that your feed doesn't really feel like your feed anymore? We started noticing something strange. Not just on YouTube, but across a lot of platforms. For example, we have an account that's mostly interested in tech. That's what we watch, that's what we search for, that's what we spend time on. And yet, more and more often, the homepage ends up filled with things like wars, politics, the World Cup, breaking news, and whatever major event happens to be dominating attention that week. Now, to be clear, we're not saying we're not interested in those things. Sometimes we absolutely are. The strange part is what happens afterward. You watch a couple of videos about a major world event, and suddenly it feels like half your feed is about that topic. Not because you deliberately decided to change your interests, but because one temporary curiosity somehow starts replacing the things you consistently cared about. The creators you followed for years are still uploading, but somehow they seem to get pushed further and further away whenever a large trend takes over. And it raises an interesting question. Is the algorithm actually serving our interests? Or is it increasingly serving whatever everyone else is paying attention to? Sometimes it feels a bit like going to a restaurant, ordering your favorite meal, and then being handed whatever dish happens to be the most popular that day. Not because it's bad, just because it's popular. And maybe that's exactly what's happening. Maybe platforms aren't optimizing for what each individual wants as much as they're optimizing for what generates the most attention overall. We don't know. But that possibility led us to another thought. People often talk about online bubbles. The idea that each of us lives inside a personalized information ecosystem, carefully tailored to our interests and beliefs. But if major trends constantly break through those bubbles, if every feed gets flooded with the same stories, the same events, and the same topics, then are those bubbles really as strong as we think they are? Or are we all seeing a lot more of the same things than we'd like to admit? And that brings us to politics. Because politics feels like one of the clearest examples of this phenomenon. No matter where you start, politics somehow seems to find its way into the conversation. Maybe platforms heavily promote political content because it generates engagement. Maybe politics is appearing everywhere because it genuinely affects more things than it used to. Maybe the overlap is real. Maybe the algorithm is amplifying it. Maybe both things are true at the same time. Honestly, we're not sure. But regardless of the explanation, the feeling remains. The internet used to feel like a place we explored. You'd build a collection of interests that felt uniquely yours. Today, the internet is exploring us, studying us, and yet somehow, despite knowing more about us than ever before, it occasionally feels like it knows us less.
Once in a while I dream. Once in a while I think.